Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 41 of the Planescape Torment. Now, we are still just kind of chilling in a grain silo, and it's been a few days since I played this. I wanted to take a little break from it and deal with some IRL stuff that was happening. And
Negative material. Location, Fortress of Regrets.
yeah, we're in Cursed. Okay, so this episode is gonna mostly be in this grain silo. And what I've decided to do is there's going to be a lot of talking happening, and I'm just kind of talking with my companions, learning what I can about them and what's what, which I did in the last episode. At this moment, I'm going to take a refresher course just to kind of remind myself who I've spoken to about what and get to know each other. But Dakon in particular has an entire religion that I'm going to be learning from him, and that on my first playthrough took me like 8 to 11 hours of just talking back and forth.
If you keep bobbing about, Skull, I'm gonna mount you in the end of a pipe.
I love these characters. So what's going to be happening is when it comes to Dakon's story, since that part took so long and talking with Ravel was just a lot of dialogue back and forth, and a lot of this game is just dialogue back and forth, what I've decided to do is when I am going to, after this episode, start recording a little mini-series, and I'm just going to call it The Way of Zerthamon. And I'm going to start uploading that after I beat Planescape Torment as kind of just an optional goodie for those of you who've stuck around this long. So thank you very much for doing that.
How may I help?
Wait, no, I wanted to talk to people. Or we can just start pursuing the Realm of Cursed. So let's just talk to people. We haven't talked to Nordom. I don't think we have anyway. Nordom is staring at his crossbows intently. They are making a variety of clicking noises, first one, then the other, as if conversing. Let's see. What are you doing with your crossbows? Attention, Nordom, required. Nordom turns, swivels to you, and stutters in mid-path, then reorients himself with a clank. Response query. Action being performed on crossbows. Submit request for clarification. Null crossbows present. There's a pair of crossbows right there, Nordom. Really, what do you call those two clicking things in your hands? Response. Two clicking objects held in opposable digits. Nordom raises his riveted fingers and waves the two crossbows around, suddenly kicking, twinging. Response. Objects. Gear spirits. Gear spirits? What do you mean? Define query. Gear spirits. Response. Gear spirits. Yes, but what are gear spirits? Chief, as much fun as this is, prying a boss stool out of a Batizu's rear might prove more worthwhile than rattling out bone boxes with a stupid polygon. Do you know what gear spirits are, Mort? Chief, I have no idea what this cube is rattling on about. I thought you were the expert on the planes. I'm going to give him a hard time after some stuff. What? I know more than you staggering guttural amnesiac. Besides, there's 3 more bits of knowledge to rattle around in the empty brain box of yours. 1, there are no experts on the planes. 2, I'm the closest thing to one you're going to find. And 3, treat me with some respect. Why? See the second reason. All right then, Nordom, I had some other questions for you. Status, awaiting queries. Nordom, how did you end up in the Rubicon? Nordom trips. Query requires submitting of chronology. Shall Nordom submit chronology? Yes, I would like to know. I love Nordom, and I love doing his voice. Orders received at initiation of Rubicon project. Departure from the plane, Mechanus. Stage 1st, arrival at destination. Plane, Limbo. Second stage, parameters dictated by superior creative director. Shaped matter of plane, Limbo, to test hypothesis. Rubicon dungeon constructed. Go on. Superior, director of Create, lost in field test. Chronology disrupted upon achievement of stage 2nd. Third stage disruption occurs. Not part of project directives. What was this field test? Superior, director of Create field test, scouting perimeters of Rubicon, difficult dungeon to dungeon construct to determine variances, many deviations detected, errors considerable. Nordom gives a low whine and shuts his eyes with a click. Director of Create, not return from field test. I see. What happened during the third... What happened to him? There's a sudden burst of clicking from the left crossbow, and Nordom lifts the crossbow up to his side as if to hear it better. The clicking goes on for some time, suddenly silenced by a long reverberating twang from the right crossbow. Nordom? What happened to him? Suspicion, unsubstantiated. Superior encountered an error. Nordum's eyes click as if to clear them. Hypothesis, error may have been large and unexpected. I suppose that's possible. What happened during the third stage of the project? Third stage, unprecedented, Nordom-specific stage, hypothesis, lack of director, plus exposure to plane, chaos, resulted in perspective of Nordom to deviate from norm. Deviate from norm? How? Introspective cycle commencing. Nordom clicks his eyes and begins to hum. A few moments later, his eyes click open. Introspective evaluation. Perceptions have become 1. Smaller, and B. Louder. Wings have been replaced with arms. Reason unknown. Suspicion, hypothesis. Not liked wings? Speculation. Nordom was once 1, but is now smaller, louder 1. Change has resulted in information processing difficulties. I see Nordom had some other questions for you. Move on. Nordom, what are Modrons? There is a click, 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 and Nordom executes a rapid series of links and trips. Query, Modron. What is? Define Modron. I am Modron. Yes, but what is a Modron? Query, Modron. Define Modron. I am a Modron. Answered. So just Nordom eyes click a few times, eyes dilate. New query, Modron, but what is? Define, but what is Modron? Modron is Nordom, backward Nordom, Modron. But for the sake of the powers and my sanity, cut it out! He's going to snap a crank if you keep asking him that over and over. It's kind of the idea. Well, I wanted to know the answer, and I was getting it from him. Look, Chief, normal Modrons barely understand anything beyond their basic tasks, and this stupid polygon here is fresh off the plains to boot. Don't confuse the cube, all right? At least not while he's armed. You want to know about Modrons, ask me, not him. All right. What are Modrons? It's like this, Chief. Modrons are these stupid geometric shapes that clank around on their home plane. Mechanist. They're really tidy, orderly, and they like the rest of the multiverse to be too. That's why they're such pests. I'm trying to make the multiverse more orderly. What's Mechanist? It's a plane where all these clockwork drones come from. Ask him about it. See what he says. It's where You just told me to ask you! It's where they sit around and tidy up everything all the time. Catalog this, put this in order, put that in order, make that law, and so on and so forth. Seems like a noble goal. What's wrong with multiverse? That gives me a chance to say. You don't sound like that thrills you much. Mort glances at Nordom, who is holding up his left crossbow to the side of his head as if listening to it. Because, Chief, chaos has its place, and if everything was the way a Modron sees things, there wouldn't be much of a life. At least the life I'd want to live. They just want to make everything structured. Ugh. I agree, chaos has its place. Too much law and we'd all stagnate. Look, I had other questions. Questions for Nordom. See, I want to say that carefully. Chaos does have its place, but so does order. I agree to both. Status, awaiting queries. Tell me about Mechanist. Bleh. Coffee, please. Tell me about Mechanist, Nordom. Nordom freezes, then slowly gears in his elbows, begin turning in a slow, hypnotic synchronization. Query. Define, query, Mechanist, plane of order, sense, cause generates, effect, predictable, law, logic, regimented, obedience. Gears turn, Mechanist equals Nordom origin. Mechanist equals null home to Nordom. Mechanist, born ever since the word, Chief. Imagine a plane filled with Modrons with big turning gears. Yeah, we just answered this. Have a great big boring plane of Mechanist. Too many laws, too annoying. A place you wouldn't even want to think about, let alone visit. Mort's critique aside, Mechanist is actually a fascinating place. There is no sky there, only great gears that turn in place. They shine light according to their cycles, and the effect is really quite breathtaking. The logic and order of the planes can be relaxing. There's more than enough to quell one's boredom if you know where to go and how to go. Excuse me, Miss Priestess of Piety, but Mechanist is the most boring plane in the universe. The only interesting thing about it would be if you visited. Mort rolls his eyes. I have a feeling even that will lose its charm after a while. Nordom, what did you mean before by null home? Mechanist equals origin point. Source. Energy cannot return to Mechanist. Null home. broke law with existence. Central office for the punishment of offenders awaits Regulus. Mechanist origin, null home. Home, null place. He can't go home. What do you mean by source? Source equals energy. All Modrons are part of this pool, Chief, kind of like a big bank of energy. When one of them dies, the energy it took to make the Modron is absorbed back into the bank, and a new one spit out. Thing is, when a Modron goes a little nutty, he kinda cuts that connection, but he keeps a bit of the energy. Mort is correct. Modrons share a common energy in some ways. This energy links them. When one of them dies, the energy is absorbed back into the common pool, and a new Modron is created from that energy. When a Modron goes rogue, then he severs the link from his kind and takes a small part of the energy with him. So, do you mind? I had the answer covered, thank you. I'm the font of information here, not you, alright? My apologies, Mort. I did not mean to offend. Mort, I need all the information I can get, so don't get territorial on me. If Fall from Grace has something to add, then I want to hear it, alright? Right, so you're saying that Nordom is part of this. I could be snippy, and I want to, but I want Mort to like me because there is more to him, and I'm afraid I won't get the chance to talk to him about it until way later. So you're saying that Nordom is part of this source, but he's cut from it, and when a Modron dies, they're reabsorbed. Will Nordom be? Nordom, the Mechanist is a sort. So Nordom, the Mechanist is sort of. Here. B. Mort nods. And if he dies, another Nordom is created. No. What happens? Well, they'll take his energy teeth, but they'll spit out another Modron. But it won't be Nordom, because he's not really a Modron anymore. He's got too much of the planes in him. They'll make a non-Nordom replacement. So in turning rogue, he's become mortal. Well, yeah, you could put it like that. I mean, if he hadn't had his little rogue rebellion, then he'd be fine. If he died, another Modron would pop up just like him. But since he became backwards, well, that part's going to be lost when he dies. Interesting. So, when we encountered Ravel, the reason I bring up talking with our partners now is because previously Ravel had brought up a lot of the torments, quote-unquote, that our party members suffer. So, in talking to our party members and getting them to open up to us, we actually open up possibilities of helping them level up and grow, not just in the sense of their stats, but in the sense of characters, and sometimes you can even get them to learn special abilities they didn't realize they had. Talking and learning is fun. Nordom, I had other questions for you. How are you doing, Nordom? Introspective cycle commencing. Wait for Nordom to complete analysis. Introspective evaluation. Perceptions have become 1 smaller and B louder. Oh, we talked about this. Unknown. 1 change has resulted in information processing difficulties. Yeah, we know all this. I think your separation from the source is what caused your perspective shift from that quieter, broader to one smaller, louder one. Nordom stares at you for a moment in silence, then a slow word comes from the side of his frame and he clicks. You're not certain, but it sounds like something clicked into place.
Updated my journal.
Oh, I leveled up Nordom. Sweet. See, talking is good. Status updated. Introspection drain halted. Rerouting speculations routines to main queue. To your surprise, some of the warbling has gone out of Nordom's voice. It is a more level, more controlled than it was before. The effect is a little unnerving. Nordom, I had some questions for you. Nordom, do you know anything about the Blood War? Define Blood War, the largest conflict in history. Underlying cause of war, ideology, differences between Batazu, law, and Tanari, chaos. Qualifiers of war, racial genocide. Prospect of war ending unless Batazu and Tanari is exterminated is 0.00001 primary combatants. Batazu, Tanari, participants in war, all. Ooh. Tell me about the Batazu. AKA, fiends, devils. Information incomplete. Generic descriptor Batazu, inhabitants of the plane Bator. Numbers incalculable. Primary attack form dependent on cast. Immunities: fire, cold iron, poison. Physical traits dependent on subrace. Majority exhibit resistance to cold, gas. Personality traits: lawful, evil, manipulative. Efficiency 73%. Ooh, okay. Immunities: fire, cold iron, poison, and dependent on subrace, cold, and gas. That is important stuff to know, because you guys may know we have actually encountered demons in the past. So learning things that they are weak to now is really helpful, out of Sigil, which was kind of a portal for all, and now into a plane of chaos that brings us just a little bit closer to something a lot nastier. Where are we now? I am going to... I'm drawing a lot of frames. Oh, I am. So this episode's going to be... This is going to be... I'll title this Learning 101 with Nordom. And then I'll start recording that sub-series of The Way of Zerthamon, because, in my opinion, Dakon is a very fascinating character, but it also means that we're going to be seeing a lot of just this silo and a lot of words. And I know from a viewing standpoint, probably going to be boring to some people who don't really play games like this, so that's why I'm going to kind of crop that out and make that an optional view after the game has been completed. Tell me about the Tanari. AKA Fiends, Demons. Information incomplete. Generic descriptor Tanari. Inhabitants of the plane Abyss. Numbers incalculable. Primary attack form dependent on category. Immunities: lightning, fire non-magic. Ooh. Poison. Physical traits dependent on subrace. Majority exhibit resistance to cold, magical fire, gas. Personality traits: chaotic, evil, efficiency 13. Alright, then Nordom, I had other questions for you. I jump in the Rubicon. Can I actually get something different about this? Yes, I'd like to know. Play Limbo, second parameters, dictated by creative director. Okay, just making sure that this didn't just bring up something else. Deviate from the norm. Because, yeah, we brought that up. Okay, so let's talk. We mostly talked with Nordom in this episode. We shall talk with Anna. Why not?
What is it you want then?
Let's see. Anna, did you find anything on my body before you brought it to the mortuary? I found something, but if I found anything, it's mine by right it is. The other bits are for keeping. James, what did you find on my corpse? You had some fist irons, you did, and a bit of jink. But I left that for the dusties, so they think I was a wee bit honest. You had an ugly ring that I kept. Too bad it's too ugly to wear. Hello, I'd like that ring back now. I just saw my body gone for housekeeping. What did you mean? Fra takes a bit off each corpse we find. Yeah, but I kind of can't go back there right now. It's keeping it all. I had some other questions. I'm just gonna see what she gave me. Oh, it's a Ring of the Traveler. It gives me just +1 to armor class. When I'm already wearing stuff that's way better. So, just because she called it ugly and insulted it, there you go.
What's up?
Oh. Alright, let's dialogue. I'm gonna try talking with one more time.
You, Chief?
And see if I can't. Anything else you can do except chatter. Hey, chatter's my best trait. Eh? Oh, that's good to hear. I know about the Litany of Curses more. I'm more curious about what you got while you were at Lothar's. Well, I made some friends when I was sitting on the shelf. Lothar was waiting for you to bail me out. Thanks for taking a sweet time, by the way. They said if I needed any help, I should just call them. Friends, what do you
Updated
mean?
my journal.
Hello. Well, I just whistle and they kind of show up. They're a cool bunch of bashers. Bite like snakes, too. Special ability, Skull Mob. Oh, yeah, I've cast that a few times. So you had some other questions. Do anything else except chatter? Oh, that's good here. No, seriously, Chief, I have a knack for chatter in just the right way. I can really bend an ear. Skull, how's that useful? Times I call it my litany of curses. I probably should have done this way sooner. See, sometimes I can really bend someone's ear with just the right comment. Of course, then I usually have to do a lot of running afterwards, but you get the idea.
Updated my journal.
Well, I can spit insults at someone until they get mad enough to chase me around. It's very effective against mages. Oh, yeah. Can you do anything else? Okay, I had some other questions because we talked about that. I could use some advice. Where do you think we should do next? Well, here's how I see things. Go on. You got me, Chief. This is all your show. I'm just following you around. Enough, I had some other questions. Said you're a mimir, right, Mort? There's a floating encyclopedia. Just put the information in, get the information out. See what's see. You, Chief. How'd you die? Yeah, what happened to your body? We talked about this before, and I know it for a fact. Other questions? Can you tell me a little about Sigil? Shape City squat on the top of an infinitely tall spire and claim to be in the center of the plains. Of course, how could it be at the top of an infinite spire, and how the city could even be at the center of the plains raises some questions. Anything else? Sigil's called the City of Doors. Yeah, we know about the keys and the arch. Portals are sleeping. Whatever's on the other side. Like where? Anywhere, Chief. Literally. Any place you can think of, there's a portal there. And that's why Sigil is so popular across the plains. Why didn't you tell me about that? Can you read the tattoos on my back again? Why didn't you tell me about that extra line? At the end, I figured it was just washing. Do you think it refers to you? You can trust me, mate. Come on. What's your problem, Chief? I haven't steered you wrong yet. Like you didn't read me that line. Isn't that we've been traveling together? Anything else? I suggest you tell me now. There is something else, and I know he's not. Fine. I hope not. Let's go. Grace,
Yes?
I'll talk with you again just to make sure. Do you ever use weapons? No, there's seldom the need, and I find that I cannot bear the touch of cold iron or even steel for long periods of time. I have a number of natural defenses that tend to discourage attackers.
Updated my journal.
The kiss of a succubus is lethal to mortals, though they rarely realize the danger until their death is almost upon them. They can resort to it when the need arises. I see. I have some other questions. We did a lot of talking. You were tormented. Are you in pain? I think we talked about this in the last episode. Are you going to be alright? Very well. Thank you for asking about my well-being. Your concern is not unwelcome. Just making sure you're alright. That's questions. Can I read your diary? No. Please. A lady must have her secrets. Oh, right, I can get her to read my diary if I get her to fall in love with me, which is not a good idea. Let's move on. Alright, I think this is actually a good stopping point. So the next time you guys see me, I will be out and about in Cursed, or I will be talking with Dakon. Thank you very much for attending this episode, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Just make a little title. Save. One. Learning with Nordom. Nordom, can I capitalize N? Hypothesis. Something. I don't know. Thank you very much for attending this episode, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.